What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a breakdown for new content dropping this week in Destiny 2, where we'll go into a little bit more detail about Act 3, some further updates from Bungie regarding the content drop this week. That does as always include updates to the game, downtime ahead of reset and a few other items, so we'll touch on that, as well as some featured rewards to look out for this reset, game modes like 8v8 Sparrow Control, which is returning this week, but also we'll talk about other events that'll happen during Act 3, core rewards for the reset, and a handful of other items which we'll break down in the video. So, as always guys, I hope you enjoy this one and find it useful, but without further delay, let's get into it. And initially, given that Act 3 launches today, Bungie do have upcoming Destiny maintenance, so we're getting update 8053, and the background maintenance will start at 6 AM PDT, and then downtime start at 6:45 AM, with the ending time set for 10 AM Pacific. Of course, when we get these updates, potentially there can be at least a small delay. Hopefully that won't happen today, and we'll be able to dive straight into the reset. But I'll keep you posted on patch changes and things if they're worth knowing about. Otherwise, Bungie have shared the Act 3 trailer. Importantly, we do get a look at the new exotic weapon, as well as some shots actually showing off the new mission space for the exotic mission. And there's a bit of a sort of Ishtar Collective theme going on there. Plus, I believe it will be tied quite closely to the story for Echoes, so it's going to be an important piece of content for the episode overall. And here is the trailer in full.
The threat is serious and imminent. The conductor seeks to assimilate all of Sol under her command.
Guardian, I bring an invitation. It's not too late to accept.
So pretty juicy trailer right there. As always, Bungie do a good job with these. Nice to get a bit of a glimpse at some of the exotic mission space, as well as the weapons. We'll talk in a bit more detail about some of the exotic mission things in a few moments, but give us any thoughts you have on that trailer down below. Next up though, to talk in a little more detail about Act 3, of course initially, one of the things we'll see is new artifact bonuses. So these will be added to the existing artifact perks, so it'll be the largest artifact selection that we've had. And the new ones coming this week include Overload Auto Rifle. There's also authorized mod Charged Up, where the energy cost of Charged Up is significantly discounted. Then we get some of the auto rifle mods like Sustained Fire, and continuously damaging combatants with an auto rifle grants you damage resistance. Plus there's Targeting Autoloader, and while you have an auto rifle equipped, defeating combatants reloads your equipped weapon and temporarily increases weapon damage. And it also awards bonus progress when dealing final blows while surrounded. So any of your favorite auto rifles are going to perform better than they do right now. I know a lot of players are pulling out things like Sweet Business, but also, of course, other good weapons, Monte Carlo, Kvostov, you name it, it's only going to get better. That of course includes your favorite legendaries and the exotic mission reward for Act 3, so those are going to be pretty juicy. Column 5 of the artifact though will get Shock and Awe, and when you have an Arc or Prismatic subclass equipped, Arc final blows while you're amplified summon a burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets. So some pretty interesting ones for the artifact coming up with this episode. Otherwise though, we are getting a new exotic mission, which according to Bungie will be one of the most significant exotic missions that we've seen, one of the largest. It looks like there will be a handful of different encounters within it, and it's sort of the featured activity for Act 3, so we'll probably even be getting some legendary drops in there, and for the exotic weapon itself, we'll see 3 weeks of upgrades for the new auto rifle, so there'll be exotic catalyst refits, and then no doubt secret triumphs and extra unlocks in the activity. And we do know of a couple of emblems that have been shown off right here that we'll get access to in the exotic mission, so without going into any further details, it looks like it's going to be pretty interesting, and I guess overall it'll be the main piece of content that players want to check out for Act 3. But we'll also see new legendary weapons, like the Speleologist machine gun. Bungie shared some of the perks that we'll be able to get on those, and I did make a video breaking down the best roles that we can go after, so you can check that out if you want to. But additionally, we'll get a new Void Trace Rifle, the Chronophage, that can get things like Repulsor Brace and destabilizing rounds. And Martyr's Retribution is coming back with a few tasty perk rolls. It'll be able to get Heal Clip Incandescent, as well as a bunch of other pretty good perks, so some decent weapons there for Act 3. But also, we'll get 3 more weeks of story, which will be delivered week over week still at this point. That'll be changing for episode 2. Plus for Act 3, there'll be additional failsafe upgrades via the Ness research quests. So the next 2 or 3 weeks will keep us reasonably busy. But other bits of content we're expecting to see include the launch of the Grandmaster node. Bungie haven't outlined much detail about this, but it is expected to drop during Act 3, perhaps after the first 3 weeks. And otherwise, keep in mind the weekly bright dust that we can get from the Eververse store will continue up until the end of episode 1, which is on the 8th of October, so be sure to grab that every week. Plus another quick mention for the next few weeks, but while Bungie haven't announced it yet, we are anticipating seeing the 10th anniversary event for Destiny. That will probably come sometime around mid-September, but I'll give you more detail on it once Bungie let us know. On to other bits of content for this week though. We're going to see 8v8 Sparrow Control return. So this originally went live during the GCX event, but Bungie say if you didn't get to play during the first weekend, there'll also be the chance to test the experimental mode again for 2 weeks starting on August 27th, and I believe that will show up in Crucible Labs, so if you fancy some of that chaos, it will be available this week. And otherwise, there will be a handful of exotics available to grab this reset, so on top of the new exotic auto rifle coming from the mission, which is presumably dropping this week, we'll also see the Collective Obligation, which is the Vow of the Disciple exotic. That raid is featured, so it'll be a totally farmable one. Plus, the Vexcalibur exotic mission will be featured this week too, so that's the Nord Override exotic mission, and if you want to get the weapon as well as the catalyst upgrades, those should be available to farm out while it is featured. So one of the busier weeks for the Echoes episode coming up right here, guys. Let us know what you plan to jump in and get done. But as always, for today, that's what we have to speak about. So I'll be keeping you posted with the exotic mission, some of the new content through the week, and updates from Bungie, of course. So keep it locked and loaded here on the channel, get subscribed, and hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss out on any content. Let us know if you plan to dive in this week down in the comment section. And if you found the video useful, a rating really does help us out there as well. Otherwise though, cheers for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
The threat is serious and imminent. The conductor seeks to assimilate all of Sol under her command.
Guardian, I bring an invitation. It's not too late to accept.